Welcome everyone, my name is Rachel Biogene.
I'm Zion Kenneth Adezaru.
On today's episode of Decisions, we're going to be looking at a very tricky story. So on today's episode, we're just going to run the story through for those of you that couldn't read it while it was showing. Yeah. So a prostitute goes to a woman for advice on whether to abort the baby or not. And then the woman, of course, gives a human advice. You should keep the baby. Yeah. Few months after, when the baby was born, the prostitute dropped the baby in front of the woman's house and left a note there and said, "You want a baby?
Yeah, you have it.
Here's a baby." And the woman, of course, took care of the baby, trained the baby boy, and now 40 years later, the baby has 4 children. That means she has 4 grandchildren from this baby. She has a beautiful life, and the woman shows up from nowhere, the biological mother, and wants to know her baby.
Yes.
I mean, from clap, this went that down, so don't know what she wants next and all of that. But the problem is, right now, the mother that took care of him has leukemia, and she's going to be dead in no time, very soon. So she's wondering, what should she do? Should she let go, just die in silence, and whatever happens after her death, she's fine? I mean, she's not alive to see it. Or should she tell the son what's happening? That's what we're doing today, guys.
And because of how peculiar this is, we'll be going out to meet our deliberators in their offices, wherever they are. I'll be going out on the street to hear what our people have to say about this.
Yeah,
so go nowhere. Just stay with us. It's going to be fun.
And if you have something to say, of course, we know you have something to say. We'd like you to send it to our Facebook address or Instagram address, or send it through an email showing on your screen right now. We would like to hear what you have to say. Thank you very much. Come with us. This is going to be
wow. Take care. Hello.
Hi.
What's your name?
I'm Carissa.
And what do you do?
I'm a businesswoman.
Okay, now you are on Decisions. I'm going to ask you a very wonderful question. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Can you pick up an abandoned baby?
Yes, I can.
Can you adopt?
I bring the child in.
Yes.
But I have to go through the legal process.
Yes, let's say the legal process permits you to. Can you?
Yes, I can.
Why?
Okay, for the love of the child, I could pick up a child and train the child, bring the child home.
Okay.
Then, for one or two reasons, I think if, for instance, maybe I need a baby girl,
yes.
I happen to see a baby girl,
yes.
then I could pick up a child and do all that.
Now you picked up the child, and someday, would you want to tell the child about his or her identity?
I think at some point in his or her life, I will.
What point?
Let's say when the child is 21 and above, I could maybe start introducing the discussion of how we met, how I picked him up or picked her up. I think I could do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright.
Good afternoon, sir. What will be your name? What do you do?
My name is Samuel Verade. So I'm a security in the world of faith church.
Okay. So you can adopt Vicky.
Why? Based on saying, by the time I didn't have Vicky, my wife didn't have Vicky. So we look for someone to help us, and we need Vicky, you understand? I can adopt Vicky. where there is no children.
Yeah. So if you don't already bought children, you don't feel another one.
No.
Okay. So if you're not picking, you will tell her that you not be you born and you will tell her now, you don't go tell her.
Why? I will tell you time to come, but not
when they small. Okay. So if like so if you will tell her when you don't go.
Yes. Well, I will tell her.
Thank you, sir. But if you want to share your property now, you will take that picking as your real picking, you will treat her like I not my own with that.
Well, I will take her like my real picking.
So you share your property with her?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you very much, sir. Some people say you don't adopt the picking. Maybe you see the picking, they put them in front of your house. They drop her come up to your house, they come up. You will carry her?
Yes, I will take her like my own picking.
If the woman come later, say they find picking.
That will be settlement. We settle the matter because it's not my own. But I will find out if the child is from the woman. You understand? Therefore, I will hand over the picking to the child. But the child will still remember my roots, and the mother of the child will still remember the roots. You understand?
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi.
Your name, please?
Elijah is my name.
Okay, what do you do?
I'm a student.
Okay, now, your decisions. I'm going to ask you a very good question.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you see an abandoned baby on the street, will you pick it?
Yeah, I can.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Would you like to adopt if every process is there for you to?
No.
Why?
I will not like to bring the strange blood to my family.
A strange blood? Okay, thank you.
Hi, good morning. What's your name and what do you do? Okay, so can you adopt a child? Yes. Can you pick up an abandoned child and take child home? Like, you see a child on the street, can you pick up an abandoned child? Yes, I can. So would you let the child know that you are not the biological mother?
Maybe you will
Okay. Like when you start to understand. Yes. Thank you very much.
Normally, if you meet a sudden child like that, all you need to do is to welcome the child and go to the police station to report, to let them know what you discover before you think of accepting the child to yourself.
Well, legally, the first step is to take the child to the police station. I say legally, but left to me, if not for the legal process, if I see an abandoned child, as a mother, the first thing is to take that child in and take care of it. Yes, for sure.
Your heart was very good.
Take the child in. So, but knowing fully well what, our civic duties are, the first thing is to take the child to the police station. Then, keep monitoring as much as you can to see to the welfare of the child. What happens after then? What has the police been able to do with the child? Is the child taken to orphanage and all that? We try to follow to an extent to make sure that wherever the child is being properly taken care of. Okay. Because for a child to be left at my doorpost, it means I have a responsibility, and that responsibility I'll see to it to the very end to make sure the child is safe. You can see some children, there are some that are destitute, nowhere to stay and all that, comes with a pain. Some will even come to you, have not eaten since morning. As a mother, you must do your civic duty, by taking care of that child, asking questions, where have you been, what's the problem, to know the exact problem of the child and how to go about taking care of the issues of it.
All right, responsible and legal thing to do when you see an abandoned child, for me, it's that one should go through the process, the proper documentation process of receiving that child before the child is called yours as an adopted child. Because most of the times, if such processes are not followed, it could have future challenges. And so my counsel is, it's key that you should follow the legal processes, go to the governmental agencies, go to the welfare, try to ensure that proper communication is done and proper documentation. After which those things have been done, then you can be able to receive your adopted child. That's my take on that matter.
Well, of
purpose is if you come across an abandoned child, is first thing is to report to the police, and then they may take appropriate steps. Well, the child may end up not being with you, but if you express desire to take care of the child out of compassion or whatever reason, and then they may follow some legal processes and then give you the child. After all, if you didn't find him and the child ends up in that place and somebody comes for adoption, they will give the child out. So if you saw the beginning and you express interest, I guess that they will willingly give you the custody of the child and let it be on record.
I once had one like that. What I did, I was going to just pick the baby immediately. That was long ago when I had my second baby. I think the people around our vicinity, they knew we were pastors. And so my child was just about 2 weeks old. And the lady just came and dumped the baby. And people shouted, "No, mother, don't, no. I'm sure that the mother should be around." So what we did was to take the child to the hospital. We brought police. No, we didn't even touch it. My husband went and reported, and then they came, picked the baby, and that was what. Although there were other things that we had to do, but because of privacy, but somehow that was what we did. I think we should do it properly. Let the police people know about it. Let the authority, whatever is supposed to be done, let it be properly done. Because if not, it will cause you problem tomorrow.
Normally, when you find that situation, all you need to do is just to understand the child first.
Okay.
All right? Look at the person's makeup and know whether such a person will be able to accommodate whatever you're going to tell us regarding him being an adopted child. You have to wait to a certain time when the child you think can reason and appreciate whatever you're going to tell him. So that should be the proper thing. Okay. Just wait until they know that the person is mature enough to be able to understand and accept whatever you are going to tell him.
Alright, it could be better in the sense that when the child is adopted and probably you followed all the legal processes and everything, for me it's good that while you are raising that child, it's good you get to intimate the child of his or her personality and the fact, let them know that they are actually adopted. Sometimes it should not be a challenging thing to do. It should be something you are happy to do. It should be part of the reason of the child, okay? Because the truth to be told is that the child will go to a point where the child will start asking questions, want to know some things, and if you have already intimated the child about the fact that you were adopted but we have decided to receive you as family, as our own child, it will be better and easier. The child can flow from that point, can become a springboard for a better living for that child. And then it will also be easy now on you, the parents that have adopted the child, because you have communicated first that you are an adopted child and all that. And while you are doing that, you do that with love, okay? You do that with so much of love and so much of wisdom, so that the child will be able to receive those informations and still be happy, you know. And it's very, very, very possible.
In the real sense of if we consider adoption the way it ought to be, once a child is adopted, where parents are their parents, they are not supposed to be told about any other parent. And also, if there is a legal adoption, it follows some processes that you have taken this child, is your child. It cannot be displaced, it cannot be discriminated against, and all that. So there is really no other parent. And of course, in such legal adoptions, you may not even know the parents. You just adopt through the legal process. I don't know what they call it now. The lawyers will tell better. The foster homes, and you collect the child from there. It's only the foster homes that may know the real parents. They are not bound to tell you. So how will you tell the child that you are not the real biological parents? And then maybe because of our own society and the now, the child gets to know, or you must tell the child. You don't know the parents, so what are you going to tell him? Apart from maybe because of one or two circumstances, that was how you came here. But why upset the child if you are not going to give him back to that biological parents? Why upset the child by telling him the story that you don't know the end?
I've asked these questions, and I've asked some women why most of these parents that are adults, why they don't want to. One of the things that they told me was that sometimes when people go out, and when you say it out, they spread it, and these children too will somehow withdraw. So the best thing for them is just to be quiet and keep it silent. Because I've asked, as a pastor's wife, I've asked so many people, why won't you just tell this child that the child is adopted? So no, if we do, it's like a stigma. It's like so many people will start pointing fingers at these children, and before you know it, the children can withdraw, and then you will not get the best out of that child. Somehow the child will now look and say, oh, this is not my parent. And whatever you do, the child too would read to it. Adopted children, there's nothing wrong about it. It's like you giving life to another child. So why would you want to start pointing fingers? I had a very senior minister, I think he's in Benin, one of our big churches. They were not having children. They adopted their own. They just came to the church and told the church that this is a new baby. They dedicated the baby. As at last week when my husband went to preach somewhere, he came back and said he met that boy, he's now married, and that he's the one holding the church today. They handled it straight. It was not something, they didn't hide it. I also have a friend now. She's been married for about 23 years, no child. They are pastors. I told them last 2 years they should go and adopt, but her husband was not accepting. But recently they've agreed. And I told them, don't do the one that you have to hide. Do it properly. Dedicate the child. Even if people know that the child is adopted, it will not add anything and it will not subtract. If you handle something early, you will also have good result from it. So they are, but very soon, I'm sure before the end of this month, the baby will be adopted.
When you get to a point where the child will be able to know what is right and what is wrong, and a child who is, or a man who is able to stand even when he is faced with situation, right? If you present an issue to such a person and the person does not react but respond, see, you have people who react, you have people who respond.
Okay.
People who react make mistake, but people who respond want to know.
Okay.
So you have to understand the child. At that stage, you should be at a mature stage where the child will be able to decide what is right or what is wrong. But that's why when they say that when an elderly person sits down to say something, a little child has to climb up to see that very thing, or you may not even see it.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is make sure that child is mature enough to be able to accommodate any kind of embarrassment that comes his way. Like I was telling my child was telling me that she's learning to absorb, learning to at least let his conscience talk with her. You know what that means? The conscience, some people just sit, the conscience does not talk to them, they just do whatever they want to do.
Yes.
But when you get to a point where your conscience talks with you, all right, you'll be able to absorb anything.
Yes, it's most proper when the child attains the age of 18 and above, you know, because even your children, there are certain things you begin to tell them as from that age. They become more reasonable, understanding and all that. At such points you can open up if you wish. Some don't. Maybe their reason for not doing it may be that, oh, if I tell the child I am not the mother, how will the child feel? You know, they are trying to feel for the child. But at the same time, nothing stops us if we are led to do so. Most times, children, any child you bring up, that child will always, you know, see you as his father or mother. That's the basic truth about life. Some children, there are some children, they have biological fathers and mother. But whoever brings up that child, you know, the child will always see that person. This is my father. As far as I'm concerned, this is my father and this is my mother. So nothing stops you from telling the child at the end of the day. It will not stop that child from relating with you as either the mother or the father. It won't.
In that case, you have to say it when at the time the child will have understanding. And of course, in such situations, the child knows that, well, I really don't know another woman or another man to go and call my father or my mother. So I don't see that making the child becoming unruly. If you become unruly, where are you going to? If you become stubborn or begin to revolt, where are you going to? And even in the case where you pick the child, okay, if you become rebellious and choose to this, then you don't really want to make something out of your life because you are not going anywhere. You can't force me to tell your parents that I don't know, except a child that doesn't really want himself. But anyway, let's put it that maybe when the child gets to the age of understanding, that's one. Then the other one may be because of the kind of society we live in. Maybe one person has abused him somewhere, somebody have told him something somewhere, and then he comes to us. Then you sit him or her down and explain to him. And one more part of the explanation was say, don't worry. Even they say, I am your mother. Is there anything a mother will do for a child that I'm not doing for you? Mm-hmm. That may encourage the child to still be cool-headed.
If you had kept it, I think for me, let the child be of age. If the child is still very tender, he might not really be able to. So maybe the child is 10-15 years. Should be able, I think that child should be able to understand and accept it.
August with the Alabaster Band. Be there. See you there.
Of course, she has to be alright because it's a child.
Okay.
Right? No woman will want to abandon the child just forever. Right, though the scripture says, can a suckling mother forget the baby? Right? Yeah, it's possible, maybe when there's crisis. But time will come, you remember that he has a child. No mother will ever want to forget the child he gave birth to. He will go back and find out. But besides that, if you look at the story, you can see that the woman kept this child under the custody of somebody.
Okay.
Right? So if you keep something under custody of somebody, it's expected that you should go back and see what is happening to the person you left with the other person. So it's necessary the woman have the moral right to go and see the child. In the case of this lady, she already told the person who is going to take care of this child that, look, I cannot manage the child.
Okay.
All right? Maybe because of the business she's doing. Right? So, if she was able to come out to say, look, I cannot take care of this child, it means she cannot take care of the child. But as time goes on, I think, like I said, she still has the right to come back to look for the child. But I think from what you are trying to say, I look as if the woman have no right because she's irresponsible to have abandoned the child. Have no right to. We have the right to go and see the child, but you may not have the right to even take the child.
No, she doesn't.
Why?
Yes. The reason being that she was in distress.
Yes.
And as at the point of her distress, she needed help.
Yes.
Somebody to help her. And she willingly, first of all, remember she has discussed with the woman why she was pregnant.
Yes.
After that, she now gave birth. And all of a sudden, dumped the child. And the person she discussed with, you know, with a note, please, this is the child. You can have him. So it was like an offering to the lady. Then, if the lady, you know very well that this woman had no child before you dropped this baby, and this woman has taken, you know, all of her life, has spent her life on this child with the mind that, oh, God through this woman has given me a child. Then why would you come at the end of it, at the peak of life, when this woman has spent all she had, her resources, her love, everything, only for you to come back at the end of the day to say you want your child? It is wrong. Very, very, it is heartbroken. You know, that woman, such a woman is wicked, for Christ's sake.
Well, if you see moral rights to come back, it's a two-way thing. A situation whereby proper processes were followed and documentation for adoption. Most of the times when those processes are followed, it's always very, very difficult. It's always not possible even for whosoever dropped that child to get to know who the child is with. So on that ground, it will be very impossible for you to locate that child.